Okay, so we're back again. I've got a collection of videos I did in bulk on the build of the Layla chair, which I've been releasing, and I realized I didn't do one on how the frames come together. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Really quite simple. You know, we start with, I always start like I spoke about with the backrest so that I do them one at a time at the start of the day, put them aside and then move on to the rest of the project so that by the time we've got the frames assembled, hopefully the backrests are done, ready to be used. The next step after the backrest was working on the frame. So this guy's pretty simple, you know, two rails, two styles, and how they come together. There's a twin 8mm by 40mm tenon in both of these, in all of these. Pretty simple glue up. And again, you've got the ends of these rails are tenoned for a through mortise that goes all the way through. Pre-sanding, pre-shaping before gluing up. And again, same with when I attach my legs. I do all my mortising for my legs. I rounded these legs on the router table like I do for a lot of my rounded legs, just instead of doing them on the lathe. Saves a lot of time, aesthetically just as good. And you can really bring the leg up to the round over bit on the router table and create this kind of where the join meets, and it's just really tidy. So everything's pre-sanded when it comes to gluing up. And you know, you'll see in the video, I use towels, like little rags on the clamps to reduce clamping pressure. I use packers, and just nice even pressure as I'm going. You know, there's a lot of, on the videos, it might just look like I'm tightening the clamps, but there's a lot of muscle feeling, like pressure, a little bit more, observing the join, making sure I've got a nice tight, clean join. So as in, there's no gaps in there. Tiny bit of squeeze out is ideal. Not too much so that it's messy. And then tapping in my wedges. Chairs, frames that have got wedges, generally anything that I clamp, I like to leave in clamp regardless of whether I can wedge it or not. But in this case, I'm running through so many chairs, I need them to be done, you know, quickly. And as long as I've got a nice tight join, I'm going to tap my wedge in there. That's going to add the pressure and keep that, because most of the structural integrity of this joint isn't where the edge of this meets the end grain of the rail, you know, which is what you're going to get from the pressure from the clamps. That's not where the structural integrity is. The structural integrity is in the face-to-face of the tenon. So the tenon that goes through here, where that meets the face of the mortise in there. So really having the clamps on doesn't add that much more. So in this case, I'll remove the clamps once I've wedged them. And again, the wedge is acting like a clamp. So yeah, just really noting how important it is to have that, the clamps supported by the legs supported by rags or towels, and again supported by packers, so that when you know, there's no point pre-sanding if you're going to ding your job when you're gluing it up again. Once the frame's glued up and the backrest has been fit, pre-sanded and shaped to size, again, laying the clamps long ways and tightening them up to bring it in evenly as well. In the videos, it looks quite easy and we're just whacking one clamp on, twisting it up and then wedging it. In reality, you might need to whack the clamp here, then adjust it over this side, put one up there, just to really make sure that you've got a nice tight closed join on the front legs and on the back legs. Again, once you've got them joined, whacking that wedge in there. And the thing is with these ones in particular, because this is strip laminated, I don't want to just blow out, I don't want to bang in a wedge that might end up blowing out, you know, like if there's a little bit of weakness in the strip lamination somewhere, you don't want to test that. Especially because this is, you know, the through tenon's only, you know, less than 30mm from the edge here. So 25mm in from the edge. So there's just not that much strength in that. So I'm tapping my wedge in, but I'm also being conscious of how much pressure I'm putting in. I want to close my join. I want it to be tight. I don't want there to be any gaps, but I don't want to smash it in like I might do on the legs, where I'm more confident that it's not going to impact the actual structural integrity. Yeah, so I just wanted to make a note that with the clamps, making sure you're gentle, using packers, using rags to protect the job, and that it's not just clamp down and wedge as it looks like on the videos. There's a lot of mucking around, a little bit of pressure here, a little bit of pressure there. Same on the back legs, making sure that it's nice and tight. If it's not a tight joint, if it's gappy, it loses its structural integrity. Again, the strength isn't in where the end grain meets the bottom face of the back rail, it's in the tenon. So making sure that your mortise is nice and tight. Your tenon is nice and tight. If you've got a loose tenon, there's no strength in there. You know, you can wedge it, etc., but it's eventually going to fail. Yeah, quick one on the frames coming together. Cheers.